this video, I'm going to show a sped up process of painting this garlic and transferware bowl still life. And I started with a different technique. Instead of doing a tonal underpainting, I decided to wash in all the colors, just kind of in a very, very light scum bowl. And I have seen some artists use this as their process. So I've been kind of testing it out lately. I do like getting paint on the canvas before I get into the details, whether it's just establishing values in one color or if it is sort of scumbling on approximate colors like I did in this case. I'm using oil paints and I am painting on a primed wood panel, which has become my favorite surface to paint on. And I'm using a pretty limited palette here, which I will put in the description. Once I have the initial colors washed in, and those colors are just approximate, and as you can tell, I'm staying in mid-tones. I'm not going very, very light or very, very dark. I'm just paying attention to kind of the mid-tone color that that area is going to be. And now I'm coming in and starting to add a bit more of the darks first. So the shadows, the darker colors in the transferware bowl. And I'm doing it very gently though, so that the painting doesn't get too high contrast too quickly. I want to kind of add those dark colors slowly. And I'm also looking at what are colors that I can add into the garlic, like blues and grays. There's also some burnt sienna that I see in there, as well as some golden yellows. What I'm doing at this point is the background is not quite as dark as it's going to be, especially on that highlighted side. So I decided to add in that darker background color so I could see how light I needed to go with the lightest part of the garlic, which is the brightest highlight in the painting. One thing to pay attention to when you are doing oil painting is, or any kind of painting really, is to not go too white too quickly. I think it's important to make sure you leave those highlights for the very end. Like we look at the bowl and just assume that it's white, but it's actually quite a lot of shades of gray with just very little touches of white where the brightest highlights are. And you want to reserve your pure whites or close to your pure whites for those brightest highlights. Otherwise, you just have nowhere else to go. I'm at the point of the painting here where I'm just sort of refining things, refining the shapes, and also adding some deeper colors to the shadows just to give a little bit more contrast. But this is definitely a quieter painting with a very subtle difference between the darks and the lights. It's low contrast. I am going to be teaching an entire course on still life painting and various techniques, setting up still life. So I will go into more detail in that soon, but I wanted to share a little flyover here on my YouTube channel for people who loved this painting and were interested in some more detail on how to do it themselves.